They said winter had no mercy, and neither did the marriage it demanded. On the morning Lady Freya crossed the frostbound bridge of Northwatch Keep, the wind howled like a warning meant only for her heart. She was daughter of a sun-touched court, sent north to seal peace with vows instead of swords. Above her, banners snapped against pale skies, white wolves stitched in silver thread. Waiting within was Sir Gareth Snowborn, called the Winter Wolf, hero of frozen borders, loyal to crown and cold alike. Freya walked in a gown of midnight blue velvet, its deep front gala cut bold yet regal, a symbol of strength rather than surrender. The court whispered as she passed, not of skin or scandal, but of courage of a woman unafraid to meet winter eye to eye. Gareth watched from the high dais, armor set aside for ceremony, his gaze steady as ice-bound rivers. He had agreed to this marriage for duty, not desire, yet something shifted as she bowed. Historians suggest such unions were forged to still wars, but in that first breath between them, a quieter truce from between fear and hope, between two strangers asked to share a throne of snow. The wedding hall glimmered with frost-lit candles, each flame trembling like a secret. Freya stood beneath a crown of winter roses, their petals pale as moonlight. Gareth took her hand, his touch careful, as if he feared breaking something precious. Records suggest Snowborn kings prized restraint, believing love weakened rule. Gareth had been raised on such lessons, taught to master storms within himself. Yet when Freya's voice carried through the vows clear, steady, unafraid, the hall seemed warmer. She spoke not as a captive bride, but as a queen choosing resolve. Her gown caught the light, bold in its deep front elegance, reminding all present that strength could wear beauty without apology. After the feast, they walked the ramparts in silence, breath rising like shared clouds. Below, the frozen sea cracked and sighed. Freya broke the quiet first, asking about the wolves carved into stone. Gareth answered softly, telling her the legend, a lone wolf guarding the realm through endless winters. She listened, then smiled, saying even wolves survive better with a mate. According to court chronicles, it was then the winter wolf laughed briefly, genuinely for the first time since boyhood. Days passed in a rhythm of ice and learning. Freya studied the kingdom's needs. Gareth studied Freya. She rose early to watch the dawn burn pink across snowfields, refusing to hide from the cold. He noticed how servants stood taller when she spoke, how her warmth did not melt duty but shaped it. Their marriage remained formal, respectful, bound by custom. Yet small moments gathered like snowfall. Gareth taught her to ride across frozen lakes, guiding her reins with patience. Freya taught him songs from the south, melodies of harvest and home. In council, she wore her bold winter gowns not to provoke, but to remind the lords that a queen could be both commanding and compassionate. Historians believe such presence altered power quietly, without decree. One night, a blizzard trapped them in the keep's old tower. By firelight, Gareth spoke of battles lost and brothers buried. Freya listened without judgment, placing her hand over his, grounding him in now. The storm raged outside, but inside, something steadied. He realized the wolf did not guard alone anymore. Winter still ruled the land, but its edge softened, shaped by two hearts learning the courage of trust. The first true test came when famine threatened the outer villages. Ice choked the roads, tempers flared. Gareth prepared for force, as tradition demanded. Freya asked for time. She traveled with him, standing before the people in furs and velvet, her presence bold and reassuring. She spoke of shared stores, fair passage, and patience. Records suggest the crowd quieted not from fear, but belief. Gareth watched as winter bowed to reason. That night, back at the keep, he thanked her. She answered simply that loyalty grows when it is earned. He saw then that love, too, could be earned slowly, honestly. On the longest night of the year, they shared a vigil by the hearth. No grand gestures, no promises beyond dawn. Yet when Gareth draped his cloak over Freya's shoulders, the act carried more weight than oaths. Outside, wolves howled not in warning, but in chorus. According to later ballads, this was when the winter wolf chose spring, not as an escape, but as a future forged together. Two rulers, once strangers, now partners standing against the cold, hand in hand, teaching a frozen kingdom how warmth begins. Winter deepened, yet the court began to change. Gareth invited Freya to sit beside him in judgment, not as ornament, but as equal. She listened first, then spoke with careful mercy, weighing custom against consequence. Lords who once doubted her now sought her counsel. Gareth noticed how her calm steadied the room, how her bold winter gown's deep front, regal and deliberate, signaled confidence without defiance. According to household accounts, decisions grew fairer, disputes shorter. Beyond the hall, Freya walked among the weavers and smiths, learning names, learning needs. Gareth followed, surprised by how readily people trusted her. One evening, they shared spiced wine by the window, watching auroras ripple like green fire across the sky. Gareth admitted he had feared marriage would chain him to expectation. Freya replied that chains break when shared. He smiled, a small thing, but true. The winter wolf was learning another way to lead through presence, not distance. As snow fell softly, Gareth felt something unfamiliar yet steady, the relief of not standing guard alone. In the silence, their hands brushed and stayed. No rush, no claim, only the warmth of choosing to remain together while winter listened. Spring rumors stirred long before the thaw. Traders returned with stories of peace along the borders. Gareth rode less, trusting the realm to breathe. Freya organized a midwinter festival, honoring both northern rites and southern songs. Fires burned in the square, laughter rose like smoke. She stood before the people, radiant in white and silver, her gown bold yet dignified, reflecting a queen unafraid of her own light. Gareth watched from the steps, pride replacing old caution. When a child offered him a carved wolf, Gareth knelt, promising protection. Historians note this moment marked a shift from fear to fellowship. That night, Gareth and Freya danced among their people, not apart on a days. The music slowed. Snow fell gently. Gareth whispered that he had mistaken strength for solitude. Freya answered that love does not soften steel, it tempers it. Their steps matched, imperfect but learning. In the weeks that followed, Gareth began to plan not for survival alone, but for harvests yet unseen. The winter wolf had found a season beyond cold, and he guarded it fiercely with hope. The thaw came quietly, rivers groaned, then moved. Gareth led an inspection south, Freya at his side. Along the road, they saw shoots pushing through ice, stubborn and green. Freya laughed, the sound bright as water. Gareth realized he waited for that sound now. At camp, they spoke of childhoods, hers in sunlit courtyards, his in snow-shadowed halls. Differences became bridges. When danger threatened from a rival lord, Gareth prepared to march. Freya proposed a council instead. According to records, her words disarmed ambition more surely than blades. Peace held. That night, Gareth thanked her with a vow not of conquest, but care. He would protect the realm by protecting its people and its queen. Freya answered with her own promise, to stand with him in every season. They sealed it not with spectacle, but with shared resolve. The wolf banners fluttered in a gentler wind. Winter had taught them patience. Spring taught them trust. Together, they learned that love grows best when tended quietly, faithfully, like green shoots breaking frost. Years later, songs would tell of the winter wolf and the queen of courage. They would speak of a frozen kingdom warmed not by fire alone, but by partnership. Freya ruled with grace and strength, her presence a lesson in dignity. Gareth ruled with steadiness and mercy, his watchful heart open at last. Together, they faced storms and summers, never forgetting the cold that brought them together. On the anniversary of their vows, they returned to the ramparts where silence first softened. Snow fell lightly, familiar blessing. Gareth took Freya's hand, thanking winter for its hard wisdom. Freya smiled, thanking spring for its promise. The kingdom thrived, not perfect, but hopeful. According to chroniclers, peace lasted because it was shared. And in the quiet between seasons, when wolves howled and fires burned low, two rulers stood side by side, choosing each other again. Not because duty demanded it, but because love, once found, had become their truest crown. Snow melted into memory, yet lessons remained sharp. Freya established winter granaries, planning for lean years before comfort tempted forgetfulness. Gareth trained stewards to listen first, command second, believing strength grew from understanding. Together, they traveled the coast, greeting fishers and farmers, measuring tides and trust alike. At councils, Freya wore deep blue velvet cut boldly yet tastefully, reminding elders that authority need not hide. Gareth stood beside her, silent support made visible. When a late frost threatened orchards, they opened stores early, saving harvests and faith. Records suggest songs spread faster than orders, praising fairness over fear. One night, beneath stars bright as ice, Gareth confessed his old dread of warmth, how closeness once felt like danger. Freya answered with patience, saying warmth can guide without burning. He believed her. The winter wolf learned to rest. Spring festivals followed, children racing through puddles, bells ringing hope. The realm breathed easier. In private moments, Freya and Gareth shared quiet laughter, planning bridges, schools, and roads. Love did not replace duty, it clarified it. Their union became a map. Endure winter, prepare early, choose kindness, stand together. Thus, a frozen kingdom learned the art of lasting peace for generations yet to come. Years of calm tested them more than war ever had. Comfort invites forgetting, Gareth warned, so they practiced remembrance. Each winter's first snow, they walked the walls together, recalling vows made in colder days. Freya strengthened laws protecting widows, orphans, and border folk, ensuring mercy survived prosperity. Gareth reorganized the watch, rewarding patience and restraint. Chroniclers note crime fell not from fear, but trust. At court, Freya's presence remained striking, her regal gowns bold yet dignified, symbols of confidence rather than excess. She spoke plainly, and people listened. Gareth learned when to yield, when to stand firm. During a distant rebellion, envoys came seeking arms. Freya chose dialogue. Gareth chose defense without aggression. The crisis faded. One evening, they found an injured wolf near the forest edge. Gareth wished to put it down. Freya knelt instead, calming it. They nursed the animal until it returned to the wild. The winter wolf understood then. Protection sometimes means restraint. Their bond deepened through shared choices, not grand gestures. In Hearthlight, they planned for futures unseen, trusting that what they built together would outlast any storm or season. As age traced silver through Gareth's hair, his legend softened into wisdom. Freya grew surer still, her voice steady as stone. They welcomed scholars, artists, and healers, turning Northwatch into a place of learning. Trade flourished. Roads stayed open even in cold months. According to records, neighboring realms sought counsel rather than conflict. One harsh winter returned, colder than any before. Stores ran low, fear whispered again. Gareth prepared the people honestly. Freya organized shared kitchens, asking all to give what they could. No one starved. Song spread, praising unity. During the long nights, Gareth told stories to children by the fire, the wolf made gentle. Freya listened, knowing stories shape survival. When spring finally broke through ice, the kingdom celebrated not victory, but endurance. Gareth thanked Freya for teaching him that love is a discipline, practiced daily. She answered that discipline without love grows brittle. Together, they stood before the thawing sea, holding hands, aware that time moves like water, unstoppable, shaping all things with patience and care. Their later years brought reflection more than action. Freya recorded laws and letters, ensuring clarity beyond memory. Gareth trained successors, choosing character over blood. When asked their secret, Gareth spoke of listening. Freya spoke of courage. They returned often to the bridge where Freya first arrived, now worn smooth by peace. Snow still fell, but lighter. One winter, illness slowed Gareth. Freya stayed close, reading to him of fields in bloom. He recovered, laughing that spring would not claim him yet. According to chroniclers, the people prayed together, not from fear, but gratitude. At the midwinter feast, Freya addressed the hall, her presence calm and luminous. She reminded them that strength lives in care. At winter teaches preparation, not despair. Gareth raised his cup, honoring her as partner, not possession. Applause echoed, warm as fire. That night, they shared quiet, watching frost lace the windows. Love, they knew, was not a single season. It was a long road walk side by side, choosing patience when haste tempted, choosing hope when cold returned. When the end came gently, it found a kingdom ready. Gareth passed first, winter calm in his eyes. Freya mourned openly, teaching that grief shared becomes lighter. She ruled a little longer, guiding the realm through transition. Upon her passing, bells rang not in sorrow alone, but thanks. They were buried where snow meets stone, beneath carved wolves and winter roses. Legends grew, but truth remained simple. Two strangers met by duty, learned trust, and chose love without surrendering honor. The frozen kingdom remembered them not for conquest, but care. According to later songs, winter never felt cruel again, only honest. Travelers still speak of warmth found there, even in snow. And when wolves howl beneath moonlight, elders say they guard more than borders. They guard a lesson, that courage may arrive quietly, dressed in resolve. That love, patient and steadfast, can warm even the coldest crown. In this way, the winter wolf and his queen endure not as myth alone, but as memory shaping hearts, season after season, wherever people choose partnership over fear, and hope over endless cold.